Hi and welcome to the Trading Bell. This is the office of Tommy Gitogo, the Group MD, Britam, and they've done quite well, 65% pre-tax profit. I'm here to have a conversation with him and hopefully get some insights and what next for them strategically. Tommy Gitogo, welcome again to the show.
Pleasure.
So it's nice to see you, and I want to start on a positive. Last we spoke when you released your full year results. You were quite optimistic that you're going to have some great strides, and you have lived to your word, and the company has delivered on your team. I want to start with sentiments that you want to share about the results. What are your sentiments on this?
They were pleasing results. Pleasing in the sense that every aspect of our group contributed, whether it's the regional businesses. Here in Kenya, our life business grew significantly, as did our general insurance business. So the areas that we wanted to see growth reflected growth. So that's pleasing because some of them are the areas we are going to depend on, that we are looking upon for future growth.
Excellent. I noticed 41% in insurance revenue and a subsequent 65% increase in pre-tax profit for the full year. The key question that will always be there, as I asked you again, the sustainability of what you're looking forward to. Are you looking at the sustainability?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. When we look at the contribution of the regional businesses to our results, they're still reasonably low at 30%. So I see headroom there because we've been putting structures in place, just making sure that we are getting quality business. Our efficiency levels are high. So we are now ready for higher levels of business with the same infrastructure. So the headroom that I see in our regional businesses confirms to me or assures me that this growth is sustainable. You will know, as I do, that insurance penetration is still quite low, and therefore, as a sector, it's a growth sector. We just want, as Britam, to grow a lot faster than the industry. So we demonstrated that in 2023 from our strategic initiatives. They are working, so we will stick with them and only amend them, introduce some agility as necessary. We do not foresee a radical change in our strategy.
You know, everybody out there would be more of a critic saying, listen, the numbers are still low when it comes to penetration. And I'm sure this is something as well that is on your desk, because you can imagine if the numbers grew, so is everything and every aspect of your company. What do you think is a solution to this, so that at least we can have people appreciating the value of insurance and really taking up this product?
So for us, we are betting big on microinsurance. Microinsurance at the retail level, but also microinsurance as far as SMEs go. We are betting on it so significantly that we are looking at a separate subsidiary that will only be focusing on microinsurance. You may have noticed that recently we launched a beta lab where we will be working with startups, especially in the fintech, insurtech space, because we believe that some of the solutions that lie ahead in terms of increasing our penetration, especially as we focus on the microinsurance space, will come from technology.
Okay. You're also quite bullish and you have quite a footprint in the region. And I want to know from your end, are you still aiming at it in your this year strategy-wise? Are you still aiming at increasing this particular footprint?
So at the profit level, the contribution to the group by the regional businesses was 30%, 29% if we are being precise. So I see the possibility, and I'm convinced that we can grow that to 40%, because there is no reason why one country in a group such as ours should account for 70% of the profitability of the group.
Yeah.
So what we have started doing is looking at the success stories here in Kenya and replicating them, obviously with local nuances in the region. So for example, we have started a life business in Uganda. Previously, we were only doing general insurance in Uganda, but we are convinced that life business will do well. We are ripe for it in Uganda, and using our expertise and DNA here, we expect that we will see similar success there. So we are also looking at life in Tanzania and in Malawi down the line. And this is something we will continue looking at. Currently, we only do asset management here in Kenya and also in Uganda. So we are also looking at which other of our markets might be ready for asset management business.
Okay, fair enough. When we go to the banking sector, we have quite some banks in this country that have some regional footprints. But when you listen to the leaders, and they have their fair share of challenges in different countries, I'm curious to know as well, when it comes to insurance and looking at the regional footprint that you have, what are your share of challenges? I know there could be many, but what is the most critical? What do you normally observe when operating in this particular market as a challenge?
Obviously, the penetration, as you earlier said, is affected largely by, the insurance beliefs, that the negative connotation against insurance in some of the markets. But to us, that's an advantage, because as we overcome it here in Kenya, the solutions that we use to do that will be largely applicable in the region. The demographics are very similar, so we do not see those as a challenge, because then we have a group-wide approach to some of the sources of growth, some of the how the landscape in the future will look like. So if you look at the demographics, it's a very young population in this region. Through our focus group surveys and so on, we have established, and it's not surprising, but the youth are very similar. The youth in Mozambique are very similar to the youth in Rwanda. And therein, for us, lies a solution, because we need a solution that then talks to the youth, for example, as an example, and we see that solution working across. Partnerships. A lot of the regional presence, or the countries that we operate in, have similar multinationals as we do here. We recently had a solution here with Airtel as an example, and we were able to deploy it in Rwanda within a short time, and also in Malawi. And the levels of success have been very encouraging. So although each of the countries are different, they are very similar. So I see opportunities myself rather than challenges, as you put it.
Fair enough. Tom, let's talk about your investment portfolio and risk management. And this is back to your numbers. When you look at the numbers that you released, you had a fair value losses on investment assets, specifically on fixed income instruments. And you're not alone in this, because even in the banking sector and other places, you could see some of them were cautiously approaching the fixed income assets, and I'm sure you've also had your share. I want you to comment on that and what you're looking at when it comes to your risk portfolio and investments.
So for the longest time, there has been an assumption that fixed investment in fixed securities is secure.
Absolutely.
What can go wrong? But if 2023 taught us anything, it is just how volatile our macros can be, and also how interconnected as a global ecosystem we are. So something happening in one corner of the globe affects the macros in another corner of the globe. When interest rates went up in the US, we saw the knock-on effect even in our market here. So the fair value loss that you're talking about arose from the sharp increase, especially in short-term interest rates. So if you have a bond portfolio with coupon rates of, say, 13%, which in isolation is a very decent investment, but you have short-term interest rates going up to 17, 18%, you then experience a fair value loss on the board portfolio that you have. Probably not. What we have done as Britam is to take and deliberately match our liabilities, long-term liabilities, with the investments that we make, with the assets that support those liabilities. So that matching helps reduce the volatility, especially of fair value losses, because every end of year, according to the IFRS, we have to mark our assets to and our investments to market. So that matching helps reduce the volatility. You will also have noticed that as Britam, we have not made any significant investment in equities. This has been a deliberate undertaking to reduce the volatility of our investment results. So even though there was a possibility of realizing significant fair value losses in 2023, we didn't, because of our limited exposure to stock, to the stock exchange, to the listed securities. Does that mean that as Britam, we will not be investing in listed equities? No. It just means we will be deliberate and cautious as we do it, because we also don't want to introduce significant volatility to our results.
Okay. Still on the numbers, one touch point is on the dividend pay. When people make a lot of money, if I may say that, shareholders expect something, but this time around you decided with the board of directors, let me not just point it out to you, to hold and recommend the payment of a dividend for the year. You did not recommend a payment, I wanted you to comment on that and why you decided to withhold.
No, it's this interview would not be complete if we did not discuss that, because it's an important point to our stakeholders out there and our shareholders. So from a cash perspective, we have cash to pay dividend. But from a technical perspective, that's where the challenge is. We made a significant loss in 2020, and that loss led to negative accumulated or retained earnings. So what we have been doing in the last 2 years, including 2023 and 2024 will, in my estimation, the last year when this happens, is that we have to ride out the accumulated retained losses before we can pay a dividend. From our projections, the profitability, the significant profitability we had in 2023, the profitability we expect to make in 2024, we see ourselves in a position to pay a dividend in 2025, because what we need to do is just ride out our accumulated losses. So we are not paying a dividend because we don't think it's a good thing to do. It's a technical situation that we find ourselves in. You cannot pay a dividend when you have an accumulated retained loss. Retained earnings are negative.
So shareholders can look forward to next year, or even probably near, right?
Yes, they can. From our outlook, the future of Britam is quite bright, because our strategy, which we have painstakingly put together, is working. We've also developed an internal agility to respond to the changing macros, rather than taking our sweet time and doing this in scheduled quarterly or half-yearly time frames. We do it on the go, and we've seen that benefit our outcomes.
Curious to know as well, how is Britam responding to the new reporting under IFRS 17?
Recharge on your current bouquet and get upgraded to the next high bouquet for 1 month. Download StarTime's on app for unlimited entertainment. Anytime, anywhere. StarTime. Enjoy digital life.
Insurance Regulatory Authority, Bima Bora kwa Taifa. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. Did you know that you can purchase affordable insurance products which are tailored to meet your needs? Microinsurance offers affordable insurance products in exchange for small regular premium payments. It covers low-valued assets against various perils dependent on the scope of cover. In the event of a loss, the claim is settled within 10 days. Insure all things that matter to you through microinsurance today. This message is brought to you by IRA, Bima Bora kwa Taifa. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy.
Curious to know as well, how is Britam responding to the new reporting under IFRS 17?
So IFRS 17 has been a huge undertaking by insurance markets across the world.
Yeah.
It enhances, obviously, comparability. But a lot of people, a lot of organizations have underestimated the level of effort that it took. This is why you may have noticed some businesses have taken long than usual to publish their results, because they are still struggling through the IFRS 17 implementation. So as Britam, we embraced it. We put in the right level of investment, whether it is systems, whether it is consultants. We also pulled people from their BAU, business as usual, to devote time and focus on this. We strongly believe that it is a very positive development in the insurance space, because we can now tell the effort or the outcomes of insurance businesses can now be traced down to product level. Are we making a profit from all the products that we are selling? It also has a better, more scientific way of recognizing revenue over the period, especially over long-term policy. For life business, some of our products will be 15 years, 20 years. So it has brought more clarity on how you recognize revenue over that period. So it brings in comparability. It brings in a lot more disclosures so that the investors or stakeholders in the insurance space can be able to assess for themselves what the performance of any insurance business.
Okay. As we come to the tail end, I want us to address the customer and a touch point on your strategy. I heard you speak and you said and emphasized that Britam's customer-centric strategy is key and still on focus. And I wanted to know, what are you doing as a company to enhance your customer value and experience, especially in emerging markets, partnerships, and digital channels?
So the acronym for our strategy is EPIC. We quite like it. So our strategy is EPIC. So the E is our employees and financial advisors, because unlike a manufacturing group, ours is a service, is a financial service, a promise to. So we strongly believe that we take care of our employees and look after them, our financial advisors, empower them. They will give good service to our customers. The P is partnerships, as you have put it. To succeed into the future, no one business will have what it takes to do it on its own. There won't be enough time. So as Britam, we appreciate that there are partners out there who are successful in their relevant fields, in their sectors of the economy. So we are looking to work with them so that we shorten the runway of adding value to our common customers. I mentioned earlier that we are betting big on startups. It is difficult for an organization our size to respond with the relevant agility, especially when it comes to new technology, new way of doing AI, generative, predictive. So we want to do this with the startups, fintechs, insurtechs in that space. Our partnerships also extend to banks and other organizations, because what are we looking? Telcos, because as we go into micro insurance, we want to do it efficiently in terms of cost and in terms of time and in terms of size. So we need to do that with partners. So partners are big. Obviously, innovation is key. And we probably do more customer focus groups than any of our peers, because we want those touch points to get feedback and also to keep up with the trends and the interests of our customers. Because if what we do doesn't serve the customer, then who are we doing it for? And we are also keen on how we do it. Sustainability is big. We want to obviously treat all our stakeholders fairly, our customers fairly in this day and age. So we are mindful of how we do our business. So actually our strategy is EPIC squared, with the second C being conduct, how we do conduct our business.
Oh, there's a square now. Awesome.
EPIC squared.
EPIC squared. And finally, I would like you to give a touch point on your sustainability and how you're progressing in this, but please also address something. Last year I asked you a question. Are you concerned that the banks are looking at diversifying their income, and one of the ways is to the insurance industry? And you told me it's a welcome call. I don't know whether the answer has changed yet, because I'm seeing they're becoming bullish on them. Some of them buying 100% insurance companies locally and all that. I don't know whether the answer has changed. And then touch on the sustainability and what you're doing.
So our partnership, when I talked about partnerships, I expect that banks coming into our space will find that there's a lot we know that they don't.
You're right.
But there's also a lot they know that we don't. So I expect that those banks that are clever enough to identify partnership opportunities with the insurance industry, rather than thinking they can go it alone, will perform better than others. We've seen them get even licenses and so on and so forth, and we welcome that, because a penetration of less than 2% or 2% isn't something to be proud of. So you will recall a few years ago when M-Pesa went into financial services. And I think a good number of banks' initial reaction was to push back.
You're right.
The insurance industry, we are cleverer than that. So we are embracing banks coming into it, because we can see the synergy of working together. So I shall repeat what I told you last year, which is we are not worried. We welcome them with open arms, because we can work together. They have financial muscle. They have networks. We can work together. So whether they set up and acquire licenses of their own, they will find very quickly that they need us, and we are ready for them.
Okay.
In terms of ESG, you will find that all our reporting going into the future will be integrated reporting. We've worked on our material topics, whether it is safeguarding our environment. We are keen on that. We have a thriving health or medical business, so the health and livelihood of stakeholders is key to us. Innovation, I've talked about innovation and technology. That's one of our material topics. Collaboration. And finally, our environment. We need to really take care of our environment, have a positive impact on society. So last year, when the rains started and we experienced floods in Lower Tana, you may have noticed that we were there paying out claims using our parametric insurance. We did not wait for the affected farmers and homes down there to file claims, because we could tell from remotely from the data we had that those claims were payable. So we will be looking to work with like-minded organizations. On that one, we were working with Oxfam and Swissre, and you should have seen the joy we brought to the 300 families that were displaced in December from the flooding. So as Britam, we are determined to do a lot in the climate change space, come up with the relevant products. As we speak now, you have seen the devastation across the country from too much rain. Next time it could be too much drought. So this climate change is real. As Britam, we are not just talking about it, we are doing something about it.
Okay. Congratulations, and keep moving. I also want to congratulate you. I saw you at the Aki Awards take a whole lot of awards. So keep shining.
Yes, we have taken the Life Award for 17 years running.
Wow.
And our general business is also doing quite well. This is what happens when you take care of your customers.
Yes.
They reward you with their business. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
All right. There you have it. Tom Gitogo, Group MD and CEO at Britam. Very optimistic, still saying we will sustain this, and really a welcome call to everybody in the industry saying, listen, partnership, collaboration is the way to go. Thank you so much for your time. I leave you now with the markets.